All right, well, let's do this. Greetings and welcome to Dune, Adventures of the Imperium, the Gildrun campaign. And above me are my awesome players as always. Let's see here. Yes. Could you please all vogue for me? Just make sure people don't realize that you're really there. They just think this is like pre-recorded or some weird shit. Yeah, that's all I expected from Steve. Yeah, there you go. We're good. All right, you're real people. So we've now proven it. Good. So let's start with Ticker slash Susan. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm here. Nothing new. So I'm here.
All right. Well, nothing new can be nice. Stability is good. Change is not always what we need here. So that's cool. How about Steve? How are you doing?
Good. Another day.
Oh, see, it's a simple life that Steve leads. And here he is with us. I appreciate him sharing with us. And then we have Jonathan, the amazing Jonathan.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent. And then, last but not least, we have Danielle. Hello.
Hello. Good evening. Happy Sunday.
Excellent. And I, of course, am ScottsCaseFiles, and we're here to have some fun. So let's do a quick recap from when we were last year. We did take a week off for the holiday weekend. And yeah, so the team had been successful in what they were trying to do. They had kind of infiltrated. Well, I can't say. Is it infiltrated a if it's like a non-secure site? If this is like a party palace, so they basically infiltrated the Salon Tranquil on the Gildrun homeworld, and basically they were looking for a spy, someone who could potentially put the house's heir in danger. And basically that the team was here to get in unnoticed, scout about, ferret that individual out, and deal with them. And we're almost to the deal with them stage right now. They have successfully infiltrated as two separate couples and have been raining havoc on the entire place for the better part of a week in game time, I'm thinking. And now we've found out that there is some sort of Harkonnen agent that's embedded there as a guard. And we aren't sure what we're going to do about that yet. That's kind of like last where we left off. So yeah, where do we want to leave off? So basically, let's start off at like a communal visit, like to one of the rooms without the recording, likely, and I'll have you guys just RP what your plan is. Let's kind of pick it up from there. As just cover background, I'm sure that you've done your due diligence as infiltrating spies and have like had kind of couples meetings with other couples and groups throughout the area, and this is just one of a dozen, so it doesn't seem out of sorts for you to be visiting these the various types. Anyway, so please, intervening, carry on. You know about the spy or agent or whatever it is. And action.
I think it was Anaya who basically went and flirted with the guard and got him to reveal himself as having a Harkonnen mannerism from the army. So I think after having done that, Anaya would go find the rest of the group and gather them all up into a room and close the door very discreetly behind her and say, well, we don't have a House Lautrec problem, but we do have a House Harkonnen problem.
Like, to our knowledge, we only have a House Harkonnen problem. But
well, that's correct. I suppose we could still have a House Lautrec.
It is certainly one we could deal with.
Yes. The guard that you identified, Castian, is indeed not what he appears to be.
What do we know? What exactly do we know about this guard aside from his patron?
He's new. He had just finished training, and he appears to be a Harkonnen agent of some fashion. That's pretty much the extent of it, I think.
listening device that we planted in that room has picked up some battle language chatter. Although I'm not familiar with enough of myself to know if it's. Oh, actually, didn't we actually hear a couple Harkonnen terms in that battle chatter?
The one of the things that kind of the thing that kind of puts this together is that, and I do feel like I'm bleeding into somebody else's audio, but one of the things was there were some clipped phrases from the battle chatter that Anaya and I believe Reza were able to kind of pick out when he was kind of talking to himself under his breath, that kind of thing. So that's what kind of put one to the other at the time.
Yeah,
Kind
so
of
maybe
linked
not
things
what he
together.
was transmitting, but in between those transmissions.
And he was definitely one of the men on that transmission.
Right.
The guard. And it seemed that he was very interested in Matthias, actually. Not so much our own house's sons.
I was going to say at least not other houses, but there's not many House Gildrun here either.
Well, there's Carrick, but he said he never would come back to the Salon Tranquil if House Lautrec were here. And he seems to have been coming here for a very long time.
Reza,
What do you
Jindo, what are your thoughts on all this? Throw something in. You got this. No pressure. No pressure.
So did we figure out if he's just new to being a guard or just new to House Harkonnen on the one guy, or do you think he could flip?
We could make an attempt. I'm not sure how deep his loyalty to House Harkonnen runs.
You had said new, so I didn't know which part the new went under.
Oh, he's new here. He's new at the Salon Tranquil. He's not necessarily new to House Harkonnen. Although I suppose it's possible. Is that how we would like to deal with him, or is there another option? I know the house was perhaps a little adamant that the threat should be eliminated.
Matthias is Atreides, is he not?
He was associated with House Atreides at one point, I believe.
Yeah, they're Atreides traders. TRAD traders. Trader. They trade in things.
That's an important distinction.
And just confirming that while he has not necessarily proved that he's going to be a threat to who are we protecting? Lewis? Which one was it?
Vincent?
Vincent, the first son who is not there.
So he has not proved that he's going to be a threat to Vincent. The fact that it is a Harkonnen agent, well, it certainly could lead that way.
I mean, if violence were to occur here at any point while Vincent is here, then Vincent would be in danger.
Agreed.
I mean, we could sit back and watch for a little bit and see if some clearer motives. That's definitely going to be cutting things close. But it's possible. If he's infiltrated the staff, then do we have any assets or agents of our own that we could lean on to do something similar?
Let's take a look. Let's see here. So, you do have, let's see here. You have Diane, who is still in Jindo's pocket, so to speak. You have Davion, the actor, who is kind of with also Lydia and Isaac. Oh God, not to re-remember your cover identities. This is crazy talk. And then you have your listening device, which you recover that did get you something. And Carrig Ness is the older. I believe he's also a like a merchant type individual who's kind of retired and enjoying his time at Salon Tranquil. So you do have some options in terms of your own assets still.
Now, Jindo, were you referring to someone to get on the staff? I think that would be a little bit hasty for what we have time for.
Yeah, you're probably right. We don't have time for that.
Well, I guess the question is how subtle or not subtle do we want to be? Because obviously, Naya will just gesture to Jindo and Castian. I mean, you could take him in physically if we wanted to do that. I'm certain that between Reza and I, we could find a way to get him fired. If that was something that we wanted to do, and just simply have him fired and no longer work here.
Well, I was going to just offer to stay closer to Matthias if we need to. You know, there's a little bit of a bond there that we may have created.
Oh, sure. Definitely that's an option also.
Likewise, I could, again, stay closer to Casper, who seem to be working in pairs.
So is this a
Sorry,
watch and
Matthias.
wait scenario then?
What was that? You cut out there a second.
I said, so is this a watch and wait scenario then?
My only concern is, what if Vincent accelerates his plan for his vacation and moves it up a day or two? That's moving dangerously close to having to deal with it while he's present.
I think we have to find a way to get rid of the guard one way or another, whether that's us taking him out or getting him fired or convincing him to turn on the Harkonnens. I don't have a particularly strong preference for which one it is, but I think we should do something.
Do we have anything that we can point to that ties him to Vincent as well as Matthias? Or did I just miss something?
I do not think we do. He was only recently hired, wasn't he?
That's correct. He's
Right.
new.
So he's likely hired, even after the last visit by Vincent. I think the concern
he just finished
was
his training when we got here.
What's that?
I think he had just finished his training when we got here.
Okay. I think the concern by the house was that we find anything that could be a threat, given that this is a loosely monitored salon.
And the Harkonnens aren't likely to miss one lone agent.
Especially an agent that is on another house's territory illicitly.
Agents don't make it back all the time.
Exactly. Perils of the trade.
Says the agent, right?
We know the risks.
also, I love how Anaya is all Harkonnen and Jindo is Harkonnen, and I'm going to chalk that up to like a dialect change. Like, you're from the north, you're from the south. This is how they say it on
Lots of planets
whatever.
have a north.
Yes.
Yeah. I just find them amusing. But yes, it's going to go that way the whole campaign, so just get used to it. One and the other, interchangeably all over the place. Trust me on that. So yes, excellent.
Or what if the third pronunciation, like Harkonnen,
That's got an exclamation point right in the center.
Hopefully less of that. That sounds like that's trying. Say it 5 times fast and you might just lose your voice or something, or blow up.
Sounds like part of a Carol Burnett skit.
In order to keep as many safe as we can, it does make sense to try your method first, Anaya, to attempt to get him fired. and removed from the premises.
Yeah, I mean,
And then I have no problem dealing with him off premise as well.
we could follow him out.
But dealing with him on premise is naturally going to endanger both us from the guards who are performing their duties, as well as the guests.
I think we could concoct something around that to get him off premises and then take him out.
And this also may help us get a look and see if it looks like there's anybody else who may be trying to work with him.
That's true.
Yeah, you could potentially find out, if he has any other contacts or is meeting anybody else here.
Apply a little pressure to the situation and see what cracks.
Maybe in the meantime, I can attempt to follow him to find out if he is working with anyone else, aside from whoever he's communicating with in a short range. But we haven't seen, what he does during his off hours and whether he, leaves the premises or not. A third option would be that we let the salon know that Vincent is going to be arriving sooner and see if that shakes any branches.
I think if we can at least get Mario out of here to start. And then if we need to shake some more branches, we can announce that Vincent is coming earlier.
That would be an excellent thing that Reza could drop as my liege is, joining me soon. And
study his reaction.
Cool.
Or the reaction of any other guests, that might know him or have not said that they know him, but all of a sudden, have, some interest.
That works for me.
Cool.
Right now, I'm leaning toward...
Okay, good, please.
I was going to say, right now, I'm leaning toward planting something on Mario and then accusing him of theft as a means of getting him fired. I feel like that would be enough, given the clientele here, to be grounds for an immediate dismissal, especially if the stolen from guest is making a rather large scene over it.
Excellent. So I just want to note that as of right now, we're leaving the espionage conflict. That has now ended. We've gathered our information. I think it's done what it was supposed to do. So we're kind of back to, I'll call it the more standard, what we're normally used to. We can always dip back into it if necessary, but I think we're past the point where we're gathering information and now we're actually acting on the information, et cetera, et cetera. We could still call it like espionage if we need to go back in and we're moving pieces around, but it seems like right now we're at a place where we're back to kind of normal running. So again, we can always dip back into it as a note, but we'll do the thing. And before I forget, let's do the intro movie, because I almost forgot. So one moment, please.
A secret report from within the Spacing Guild. A prescient nexus has been discovered surrounding a house minor. There are so many possibilities that we have no vision. A 4th-stage navigator was sent to Orbot to investigate. It is a house of entertainers, actors, dancers, and yet they also trade in secrets and favors. All prescient roads lead to one place for this house minor. Arrakis, home of the Spice Melange. observation of House Gildrun continues.
All right, we're back. Okay, I remember the intro movie. Good. Cool. So let's segue into your plan. Who wants to kind of do the thing first? Who wants to get out there? Is it the team Anaya Reza doing the plant and accuse, or something else?
I mean, I'm happy to start there, unless someone has a better idea.
No, I like starting there. And then depending on how that goes, I can follow him. Either if it's successful or if it's not. Follow him and see who he makes contact with.
I guess
I
I
need to
would.
bring my golf clubs.
I guess I would probably. I guess I would probably try to cover, in case something goes awry. Like, I might some of the the hallways or doorways towards the staff, or towards some of the like possible exits he might use if he were like blown and trying to get out or something, just to be in a position to kind of intercept if I needed to.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Right. I
Excellent.
think Anaya would pick up like maybe like a piece of jewelry or something like that. That would be like of sufficient value to cause a big stink over.
Okay.
And like spend the morning wearing it around. Yeah, so spend the morning wearing it around. So like, so people have seen her wearing it, whatever it is, right? And then go like change her clothes at lunchtime. Do like the afternoon outfit, right? So she's not wearing it anymore. And then try to plant it.
Right. And I totally imagine Reza talking up the piece of jewelry as you're both going around, and oh my goodness, where did you get it? That looks like custom. No two like it exist in the whole known universe.
Yeah.
It would be impossible to have a duplicate article of that. Type of thing.
Especially for me as a gift for my 18th birthday.
All right, excellent.
Fawn over how much I spent on it.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, too funny.
I mean, what are we here for if not to, display wealth to other wealthy people?
I feel like that's the whole point. Yeah.
That's pretty much the means to the end. Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's do the. Oh God, I gotta use the code names again. Well, Reza, thank you by the way for not using an alias and making my life easier. So Reza
welcome.
and what's Anaya's name?
Cora.
Cora. I would have gotten that again. It's been 2 weeks, I'm out of it. So yes, so Reza and Cora. Reza using her real name. Thank you again. And Cora cruising around. So let's see here. First of all, let's build up some momentum. This is going to be, and this makes a lot of sense. This is the scene where you're trying to show the piece off and make people notice it and be seen and everything. So this is a perfect difficulty 0 momentum starter for the session. Since, let me see, how much momentum do you have? Oh, that's right, 0. You have 0. So we need to get some. This is where you do it. So, yeah. And I have 4 threat. Ooh. So given that, so you've already kind of described what you're doing. You're kind of, going around, you're doing the thing, being noticed, being seen. Since Cora is kind of like the center of attention, I'll have her do the main thing. But I would Reza is absolutely backing that up. With Kitty, by the way. So, let's take a look at Cora / Anaya's stuff here.
Communicate test, I'm guessing, since...
Yeah, you're kind of trying to put stuff around, get information out there, be seen, be noticed. That's certainly communicate. I don't think it's like innuendo, of course. It's, your focus really doesn't apply. What are you looking at for your drive?
gonna keep power for the drive because her power is her power statement is I refuse to fall into obscurity, which I think applies very well here. She's being the center of attention.
Sure. And I'm going to say that your entertainer makes this easier.
Ooh, okay.
It's already a 0 difficulty, but I just kind of want to remind everybody that we do have traits we can be using here. And they do make things easier, harder, possible, or impossible. So kind of keep that in mind. Hope everybody updated their traits for me on their sheets. If not, scramble to do so right now. Yeah. So go ahead and do your thing. And what was the drive you selected? I'm sorry.
Power.
Power. Yep. Absolutely. Cool. All right.
2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So you've generated 2 momentum. Good job. Excellent. Yeah, all right. Cool. You're now ahead of the game. Good job. But yeah, so yeah, you're kind of seen around. Your people notice you. There are others, not only Isaac, but others fawning over your piece and how wondrous it is, and etc. etc. And yes, how it's custom made and no two alike, etc. etc. All that good stuff. And you go from all over the place in the salon. I'm imagining Reza and you are doing the thing. In fact, I totally forgot. I'm sorry, Reza. Why don't you roll a d20? It's going to be a communicate for you also, because you get to. I basically put you in an assisting place for this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So what do you want to? What's your drive, by the way?
Let's go with duty on this one. Like
Ooh,
it's
nice.
part of my my drive at the moment to help House Gildrun and my
Excellent. And
my
your
friends.
charm focus, I'm definitely going to count for here. That's totally important.
Okay.
So yeah, go ahead and roll your communicate. Sorry about that. I was trying to get a little ahead of myself. Or not trying, but I was getting a little ahead of myself. So excellent. No, it's just 1 die for an assist. But that's good. Yeah, I'll give you a success off that. So yes, you now have 3 momentum. Excellent. Oops. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's shown around. People notice it. The various groups are fawning. You're kind of doing the circuit of the entire salon. I would expect. And I'm assuming also you kind of go by wherever this guard might be at. So make sure that he's seeing it, that type of thing. So I see like a montage of socialization and snacking on peeled grapes and fine wines as you're doing so, etc. etc. All that goodness, all the wonder, and décolletage, yes, that too. But yes, that was from Tigger. But yeah, so you've definitely done what you wanted to do. You generated momentum, so good job. I will say, yeah, also as a note, your friend Carrig will be hanging with the 2 of you for a bit as you do that. He's been looking for some social time now that he's kind of done being by himself. And it looks like Cora and Reza are great companions. So he's kind of hanging out with you like the kindly old grandfather character that he indeed is, it seems. And yeah, so you have even more people watching you because people are looking to talk to him. He is someone important. So yeah, so let's see. So we're not. Are we? Are Casper and Isaac's part? Your part is only after it's discovered, right?
Yeah,
something you wanted to do before
I know.
the discovery.
I know Casper just wanted to be there at the discovery time. Again, to see where he would immediately go, if he was dismissed.
Excellent.
which I know Isaac was, more implying, like, trying to handle things like where the staff might go or where he might go there. I think I want to, maybe follow from the point of dismissal as opposed to where he's going to be, going afterwards.
And did Isaac / Jindo? Everyone's like, "Who's this Isaac guy?" Did you say that he wants to do some like reconnaissance beforehand to kind of look at the area around the servants area, or is this more?
Yeah, I might take a look and just see if there's any, like if I were gonna need to make a hasty exit, what exits would I look for, kind of thing. Like try to anticipate his possible routes.
Sure. Yeah, so let's figure that out. Let's take a look. So I want to make sure we take care of that. Oh, cool. I never actually saw the picture. Nice. Let's see. So let's see. That will be. That's a really good question. I'm assuming like discipline. Does that sound right?
Understand, maybe?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, understand. Makes sense. So
Like trying to just
understand.
assess the situation, maybe? Or
Sure.
anticipate?
Sure, I'm good with that. What drive are you looking at then?
Let's see. I would probably be looking at power. I think this is probably just me kind of falling into the role, trying to intercept or retrieve him. So I feel like power is probably reliable here.
Power comes in many forms, including knowledge. Nice. All right. I'm gonna say that let's make this a difficulty 2. So do you want to spend momentum at all? Do you want to just go for it? What do you think?
I may spend 1 to get an extra die, if that's cool.
Everybody seems down with that. Yes. All right. Have an extra die.
Alrighty.
And let's see how you do. Ooh, nice. Ooh, and that's 1, 2,
4.
Yeah, 3, 4. Nice. All right, so let's see here. So that's 2 over what you needed. All right, so I'll give you the basics, and you can choose whether or not you want to buy additional information.
Okay.
So yeah, so as you're kind of looking, okay, so here's basically, and pretty much all the staff lives there in like a dormitory, like I think you guys have already been there, or I'm sorry, Casper / Castian was, looking around at the quarters and the kind of the servants areas of this facility, and I'm sure relayed that to you, that kind of thing. But yeah, you can kind of see coming out of there. Okay, so there's this. It looks like there are, so this is a salon, but there are still security measures in place. The prime one that you see is a room with you can't really get past it, but at least not without doing something else. But you do see a room which you can't quite see much into it, but as you kind of put your hand against it, the threshold, you feel a field pushing you back, and you recognize this right off as a pentashield. So a pentashield is basically a 5-layer force field. Someone, to get past it, they have what's called a disassembler. It's a little token they wear on them, and what it does is it basically has the code needed to deactivate the fields only as they pass. So basically a person could literally run through, and the person a hair behind them would not pass in any way, shape, or form. This is a security thing. So the question is, who has them? And is it an escape? Or is it, as Steve points out in Discord chat, is it a like a security area, like weapon storage or something like that? Or you can't say, but
Right.
This looks like something that a security person would have access to, or at least have access to get the disassembler for it, etc. Lockboxes, says Susan.
that's not a bad idea to at least use as a ruse for, oh, I want to lock something up. Would whenever you say staff in this area and kind of like living in a dormitory, does that include guards, or are they are they separate? I guess would they have a barracks or like something different?
No, this is as we kind of staged before. This is all staff lives together homogeneously. There's no partitioning off of one job from another. Staff is staff is staff. I'm sure there's like a couple higher ups who get better quarters, but generally speaking, you have the the basic room and basic facilities there, that kind of thing. So, and that's all the information you get unless you're willing to spend momentum. Go on, spend a momentum, live a little. I only have 4 thread. Come on, how could this go wrong?
Well, what I'm thinking is trying to sort of feign ignorance and bumble my way in there, being the rich asshole that I am, and see if I can, like, I don't know, just gather some more information via feigning ignorance, basically.
Right. So
that might be a hard sell, but
well, no. I actually want to hold you there because the system is all about that. So spending a momentum and buying more information is all part of that role. Like you've already succeeded in doing what you wanted to do, which was kind of figure out byways and escape routes and stuff like that. You've succeeded, and I've given you the basic information what you would find. So rather than having you spend do another role to do this other thing, I'm going to say this is all part of this role, and if you buy more information with momentum, that represents that. There will be situations where there'll be situations where, like, if this is like suddenly a high security area you're talking about that was way harder to access than just like the normal places you have access to, that would be a separate role because that doesn't that's a different level of difficulty. That's more than you could gather from this bit of information gathering. So I hope you see like the distinction there. But yeah, if you want to spend a momentum, that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I want to find out what's behind that field. So is that one momentum to like
one momentum for extra
obtain information?
Yeah, one momentum for a piece of information that you want.
Yeah, I'd like to find out what's behind that field, what this is for certain.
Okay, cool. So you kind of cruise around and you see that you kind of put things together. There, how you get your little pins? Some pins, as I believe I pointed out, are kind of like they denote like who's the really rich people here, that kind of thing, that look different. Those are disassemblers, and this place is a safe room. So that's basically what that is.
Okay. I may be misremembering this. Did one of our assets have one of those, like inner circle?
Yes.
Or did we just lean on someone?
Yes. Kerrig absolutely has one.
And I thought Diana did too. Wasn't she taking people around?
Yeah, she's one that took us to back in half.
Yeah, she was.
She had one.
She kind of. Yeah, she kind of got you into the inner sanctum, but she wasn't like a regular member. She was kind of like She was kind of like someone that the inner sanctum liked, and therefore she's kind of has access. But Kerrig is the only one who specifically is an inner sanctum type guy, and that at least asset wise. Of course, Matthias and Lewis, the two Atreides, I think they had the same inner sanctum type access, the same badge, so they would have that also.
Okay,
but they're not your assets.
I think with that, I would probably. I don't know that I really need to get in there right now, but being able to kind of cover that area, like I guess what area would be near it that I could, maybe position myself in to keep an eye towards that or cover that hallway. Even if it's just me wandering around the hallway with a drink, like I can do that.
You are qualified.
I am uniquely, yes, very qualified. So yeah, I think that what I try to do is cover that in case he tries to, make his way back here, or in case, we spook anything that causes, some of that. So
Excellent. Cool.
unless somebody else has anything, like if you think, we should try to get in there.
I don't think there's a need to break into the safe room. I mean, sure, we don't know what's in it, but it's meant to be a place where they get evacuated to, which, theoretically the guards have access to as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm good to kind of post up here for now, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely be by there at any given time. Nobody's going to question your presence. This is not like in a back room area. This is like right off, kind of like the main, like the central area, if you will, where kind of things happen.
So I guess like mechanically, would I be in that zone, I guess?
If we end up doing zones or having a need for that kind of thing, yes, I would
just saying,
certainly give you the benefit
if
of
that were to hypothetically go there,
Right. Susan is posting some funny stuff in Discord chat. Swag store keychains. My daddy
It's
went
right
to
next,
Salon Tranquil and all I got was a stupid t-shirt type stuff. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. So so if there was zones at some point, a necessity, I would definitely say that Jindo has placed himself in the right spot. So excellent. Casper, is there anything you wanted to do right away? Or are you kind of waiting for the aftermath?
I would like to make arrangements to have my instrument, like maybe I'm, taking it out on the town, so have it like near the door for when I'm, going out. Should I need to follow anyone?
Oh, nice. As a pretense.
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, we can definitely make that happen. That's not a big deal. So yes, we can definitely do that. Cool. So let's do this. Let's kind of jump ahead. Let's go to the accusation. So I would like to get Reza some spotlight time here. So if Reza and Reza seems, I think, being the quasi-ish famous person here, is probably a good person to raise the alarm. Do you feel comfortable with that, Reza and Cora?
I feel good with that. I've got an idea of what to do.
All right. Well, cool. Then set the scene.
I need to make a one more asset, I think.
Ooh, what you gonna make?
If for this, I have a pet slaughter, which is a sloth and otter mix that I'm carrying around on my shoulder. Kind of like what the cat does, but it's a slaughter. It's a sloth otter combo creature.
Okay, sounds good. Let's for the sake of canon or whatever, let's call it a Talexu creation.
Yes.
All right.
Just
so
something I picked up at the swag store.
All right. So you're creating an asset of the slaughter.
Yeah, it's a pet. I'm kind of carrying around and being, oh, this is my new baby, and
Sure. All right. I've spent your 2 momentum to create that asset. Since that's kind of out of the blue, it's not really a skill of yours that we're going against to create the momentum. But yeah, and again, I'm allowing this asset because you are playing with a lot of money. It seems completely reasonable for a wealthy, incredibly filthy rich individual to suddenly have this slaughter, hanging out. I mean, why not? That sounds like what rich people do, right? I mean, people. walking jaguars down the street and crap. Why can't you have a slaughter?
And I
Literal
figure it kind of,
jaguars.
yes, yeah. So I figure walking around with Cora, remarking on her necklace and things like that, and using the slaughter and kind of like some of the distraction, like maybe I taught it to pickpockets a bit, or in this
Ooh.
case, remove her, like kind of be near the guard and kind of like suddenly like, oh, could you hold this for me, and act like I'm trying to ruffle around something, and it has like her necklace where it puts it in his pocket or something real quick is kind of what I'm wanting to try to do, if that sounds okay with you guys. to help with some of the distraction and get the necklace where it needs to be.
Okay, so you're doing the plant, not the reveal. It's gone, right? I get you.
Well, we're starting towards the plan of it being gone.
Excellent.
And yes, the old trained monkey job.
All right. So let's see. So let's call that. Wow.
You'd be like, oh, where is your necklace? And it leads into it.
Yeah. So is that a move or a discipline thing? I really have to figure out what's what with that.
Probably move. Move for me.
I think move sounds correct for that. What do you want to use for your drive?
I'll probably just do power with I do as I please, because I'm carrying around this slaughter and making a scene.
That seems appropriate. All right. Let's see here. You don't have any focuses. Do you have any talents or traits rather that make this easier? I don't see any. You did not scramble to put traits down, so I don't think offhand any trait that you
I'm
have.
still having a hard time finding traits in the book.
Oh.
To know what to put down.
Oh. Well,
I keep looking for it and I can never find it.
Oh, well, that's not good. So we'll go over that at a later point then. For now, you have no traits. As far as this roll is concerned. Let's see. So you do have a momentum if you want to spend that on an extra die.
That might be good because my move is not very good.
Okay. Excellent. And let's see here. To make things interesting, I'm going to make it a little harder. So this is going to be a 3 difficulty. So let's see how you do.
Okay.
Can I help in some fashion?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be part of the distraction, I'll definitely allow you to assist. Certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be pretty easy if, like, we do like the handoff thing. Like maybe Anaya takes it off discreetly and like hands it off to the monkey or the what did you call it? The slaughter.
Slaughter.
Okay, and also, actually, it's going to be difficult. I made it harder, but it's going to be difficulty 2 because of the asset. Slaughter makes it easier. Were a sentence I never thought I would say in my life, but here we are. So, okay, so yes. So you have an asset / trait, which makes it easier. So it is a difficulty 2. And yes, Cora / Anaya can absolutely assist, because, yeah, who better to help misdirect than Bene Gesserit?
1 die for the assist, right?
Correct. So with that, and only roll it should Reza succeed.
And
so
I'm rolling 3 or I'm rolling 2?
Not succeed, but I'm sorry, get successes, just to get at least a success for you to be able to assist. All right, and you're using.
Like I said, am I rolling a 3 or a 2?
It's going to be a 2 difficulty, but you're rolling 3 dice. You bought the one last one with momentum. And what were you saying, Castian?
I was going to say I'm off in the background, sort of observing and maybe, like providing a second lookout, for, whether guards are coming or not. Part of the reason I wanted to be there is I also have a talent called Bolster that I can either spend momentum or add threat to allow you to reroll a die pool. So
Nice.
if you do botch it pretty bad, at least I can provide a reroll.
Part of the reason I wanted to help is because I have Prana Bindu, and I feel like Prana Bindu would apply in a situation where you're doing some sleight of hand, and that means I can reroll a d20 as well. So
So you got a lot of support.
You got lots of support.
All right, let's see what we got. So yeah, you're rolling 3 die. Urza, do the thing.
Oh no!
Oh no! 0 successes.
Oh, it's a good thing you got that support.
Speaking of a certain scenario that we might have just covered,
yes.
You know, I think like right as you're about to do it, you know, I see like a couple guards, you know, coming, and I just, you know, give a, you know, quick, you know, shake of my head, you know, that now is not the time. And so what that allows you to do, one, Scott gets to add 2 threat because we don't have any momentum to spend. It'll allow you to re-roll the die pool, but if you like, you can use discipline instead of the move, my discipline, rather than the move you were using. So my discipline is 7. I don't know if that's higher than your move value.
Yeah, my move is 5. So
it allows you to give it a slightly better roll as well.
Nice. So, and what was your kind of bolster? How are you doing that? What's making that effect?
Again, since I was playing Lookout, you know, I think if she would have done it, you know, at the time that, you know, she was going for, it would have, you know, failed as it would have. Yeah, right. I'm just like, you know, no, and then, you know, I give a quick nod, you know, and like, you know, someone turns around that, you know, might be in a position to spot her.
And that's a talent, right?
It is a talent.
Excellent. Perfect.
So should I just like roll like just something on mine that's like a score of 7?
Yeah.
And then
the same die pool, but use something that's a 7 just from a numerical character sheet standpoint.
Yeah. Make it easy for you. Nice. I love how this oh, nice. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank God for that Lookout.
Yeah.
That's 4 successes.
I don't think you're using a focus though, right? So it's just 3. So. Yeah.
I think I turned it off for that one.
Yeah.
And you have another help from my assist.
Nice. And that is let's see. So it's a 5. Is that below your focus, Anaya?
I'm not using a focus.
Okay, cool. All right, 4 momentum. Wow, nice job. Excellent. So yeah, good job, guys. So yeah, Reza, why don't you describe kind of how this goes? Casper off to the sides, like, hold on. And I'll go. And what does Reza do?
So I figure I'm kind of fumbling around with my slaughter a bit and getting the necklace from Cora and kind of putting it in its little paw. And as we're kind of walking nearby the guard, I start to try to hand him, be like, "Oh, sweetie, can you hold this for me a second?" And then I notice like Casper is like kind of shakes his head, and I'm like, "Oh, wait a second." And I go to fix its little diamond collar that it has on its neck that it wears to its lead, and and then like kind of handle again and wait for the all clear and like be like, "Here, hold this for me," and just act like I've really got to get to like my cigarettes or my spice packet or something that I carry with me at all times, and just be, I don't know if we want to go ahead and be like, "Oh, where's your necklace now?" or if we want to wait until we're in a more public, like more people around for that. And this is mostly just getting the necklace away from you to him, or what we want to do on that part. I figure
still have to be like close enough to him for it to be feasible to be like, "J'accuse," like we need to be close enough for him to have been a viable culprit, I think.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And that's definitely where like Cora's assist comes in. She kind of may probably drift close enough. So why don't you describe that part, Naya? Or Cora, or whatever your name is.
Well, so I think the Cora's initial part of the assist is like drifting close enough to Reza and the slaughter to just kind of on her own, just like pull it off and like hand it very discreetly. Like the motion looks like she's doing something else entirely, like maybe gesturing at a painting on the wall or something, and then in actuality she's passing the necklace off. But yeah, then I think she would go to like the other side of the room or something like that, and then make a big stink about suddenly noticing that her necklace is gone. Just, oh my gosh, where did it go? I had it when I came into the room, and just like starting to freak out and like looking around and who took my necklace? And it was this big and it's shaped like a diamond, and just like really starting to.
Yeah, I'll start freaking out with her on it, and just really. So it's like, oh my god, your necklace, your gorgeous necklace you were wearing this morning.
Yeah, and then Cora will start getting really like spoiled brat, throwing a temper tantrum about it. Like, everyone in here needs to turn out their pockets right now.
Oh my god. Yeah, if servants at this place were water, you would now be drowned. Basically, you didn't realize that they hired this many people, but there they are. There's like, oh my god, okay, yes, please, keep your voice. First of all, they're worried about their, Dune Yelp review going down and that kind of thing. It's like, oh my god, they're gather around you. There's first the people that are, you can see that this is like their training. The first group tries to calm you down and make you not scream. The second group starts to reconnoiter the area, and the third group's kind of like the third circle of servants starts spreading out and like looking everywhere, under things, around things, under things, etc., etc. So this is like, this is what they're trained for.
Yeah, and Aya's like, I didn't drop it, someone took it, and like freaking like trying to get them less to look like on the floor and more to look like at the people in the room here.
Really, yeah. One of the head individuals, the little tiny servant lady that came with kind of greeted you when you came in, and she's like, Miss Cora, we'll take care of this. We'll find it. Don't worry. This, please relax. Could someone please get some wine? Can I have some wine here, please? And there's like,
I don't want wine. I want my necklace back. And like.
Is Jindo still by his spot, or is he jumping in?
Do
and
I
like,
hear this?
I paid good money. Oh yeah. The whole main hall hears this. You're like, I paid good money for that.
I have to go and sell that. Yeah, like, you have no idea how many Solari was spent for that piece. It was unique. There's only 2 of them in the known universe, and just adding to the commotion, and just like,
and Aya's just full on crying now, like making a really big show out of it, putting the Bene Gesserit stuff to really good use here, like honest to God tears.
Oh my god, I never even thought of that. No Bene Gesserit in the books ever used that, but that's like, yes, I control literally every part of my body, including my tear ducts.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like, I'll go like accost people and like force them to turn out their pockets in front of me.
Yeah, people are doing it. Like, yeah, you're still you might be a guest, but you're still the guy with 2 long knives at his hip.
I was gonna say, you do it to Castian too, just for effect.
Yeah, let's sell it, right? Just maybe not the Balisette. I'll believe.
No need to open the Balisette case.
No need to open the Balisette case. Oh god. So yeah, it's totally sold. It's the commotion. It's like a wave. The wave starts at Cora and moves outward. There's people everywhere. Yes, the ruckus that Isaac and Kara are putting up at this point are out of control. I'm sure Reza's right there, like, just don't cry, my dear. Patting out tears that are just pouring out like rain at this point.
Yeah, I put a tissue between the slaughter's claw and like use it to dot at her face. Just
that's so cute.
Stupid and silly.
Did anyone see who
Trying to
took
cheer
it?
her up.
There's like it's so real that there's like a snot bubble. This is like the most real. ugly cry you've ever seen in your life, and it's right there in front of you, and it's thanks to Prana Bindu training. Thank you, sisterhood. But yeah, it's like you guys have completed your job. This is literally everyone knows about this. It's like literally everyone in the whole place now knows this is going on. Then you have people like other rich people are like, oh my god, this is horrible. I mean, and they're kind of helping sell the story as the ripple effect of chaos goes out. You're now agents of chaos, by the way, and yeah, it's just crazy. People are all over the place. You see guards now forming up. If this might be a crime, this is like this is what we see here is literally like the plot of a jewel heist, for crying out loud. Like, this was the entire target all the time, that piece of jewelry. So yeah, there's guards like just all over the place. They do it. They've been trained to be subtle, and they do it well, where it's like by their demeanor, you don't know that this is like their emergency situation, but it totally is. And they're kind of going about their business. Some are going here and there, looking at exits. Any incoming or outcoming traffic is definitely being looked at by, a hands-on type thing. And, yeah, it goes on for like a solid hour before like things are kind of calmed down. And, again, the guards have kind of gotten their perimeter going. Nobody really left at all when this is happening. So if it's lost, it's there somewhere. So now starts the search.
I was gonna say, yeah. Has anyone actually like pointed at the guard at all?
Not
the guards turned their pockets out.
I'm gonna say that the guards are not. No one is thinking to tell the guards to turn their pockets out. They're the security force. So yeah, nobody's really hit on that at this point.
We gotta change that then, right? Like,
yeah,
how much do you make in a year? Clearly, you have motive.
Flip the script.
Trying to think of a way to force that into being. Well, so we have Carrig as an asset, right? Is Carrig here?
Yeah, Carrig Ness is an asset. Yes, and he's definitely with you. Yes. In fact, he's kind of like he's the stern grandfatherly one that is now quite concerned about your piece of jewelry.
With the group's permission, I'm going to blow cover a little bit. And I'm going to ask Carrig as a favor to me if he will accuse the guard of like say he saw the guard take it. Or he thought he saw the guard take it.
Interesting. So I'm going to assume for the sake of the scene, I'm going to say like one of you used your Gildrun hand signal or something.
Yeah, to clue him in and be like, "Look, we're Gildrun too, and I need you to do this," because like he is also Gildrun.
Yeah, this will be like breaking cover, type thing. And so yeah, I'll say that all of you are aware of what's going on, and he kind of he's like, well. Again, he's been around the block a few times, a few dozen. He's 90-ish, and he kind of looks at you. He's like, "Why in the world would you want me to do that?"
She'll say, "We're removing a threat to the house."
He kind of fades back just a little bit, like, "Of course, you're spy." My dear, I should have expected as much. And he stabs you. I'm just kidding. No, but yes. No, yeah, he kind of he suddenly becomes serious because now we're talking guild business. This is literally the house he belongs to. This is big stuff. So now this is he might be an old guy, been around the block, but now this is one block he hasn't gone around, quite obviously. So he's not taken aback, and the delivery sucks, but he manages to, without really any questioning, points a finger. I saw that man take the item off my lovely little friend here. And pointing to the guard in question. And you see this guy. He's looks like a guard. His body was made to be a guard. He's solid built. He kind of has those eyes that kind of had that, 1,000-yard stare. But always looking somewhere. Furrowed brow, all the good stuff. And he looks surprised. Like, and rightfully so, because he's like, I didn't take Jack, but he's like, sir, I assure you, I have taken no such bauble. I'm a guard here. My job is to find the thieves, of which, of course, there are not many at Salon Tranquil, except for the interest of our guests. Kind of infers that, like, yeah, people like to get danger, so yeah, every now and then there's like a theft that's on the books type of thing. But yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're speaking of. And the kind of like the head servant girl that was kind of with you, she was like your first contact to calm you down, Cora. She kind of breaks away and goes over to the guard, and she's accompanied by her second, the one who's always been kind of her second. And she kind of goes up to him and like, why don't, just to allay anyone's suspicions, let's turn out your pockets. And the guard, fine, this is absurd. And he goes into his pockets, and he kind of takes out, like, what must be like an actual, like a physical key to something. He takes out a little film book, as people have, and then he's like, and I have this, and that's, and then he, in his own pocket, he feels the thing, and you can just imagine his finger kind of doing the circumference of like the main jewel, and you see like kind of, that's all I have in my pockets. And the little servant woman is like, there's something else in your pockets, just take it out and let's get on with this. We need to find the item. And he goes in and sheepishly brings this thing out, and he's like, this was absolutely planted on me. I don't know how this item got here. And that's when like hell breaks loose. The other guards now are his enemy. The other guards now.
Maya's like, oh, like the very theatrical gasp, and then she's like, oh, I don't know how you can trust any of the staff. What is this place coming to? And just like making a big deal of it.
Please clean my tissue here, please. It's dirty. This whole thing goes on, and the play, everything is played out just right, from stage right and stage left and all the way in between. And now this guard is surrounded by guards. I think Cassian is probably has the best kind of vantage point, but yeah, Cassian, you saw his fingers touch that hilt for the briefest second before he was surrounded. And all the guards are at full shield at this point. And he's just like moving. He's surrounded. In shield fighting, there's nothing worse than not having a place to go, because now you're static. And you can't move. And that means that this becomes a lot easier. So he now knows he's surrounded by shielded guys that he's not getting past. And you can see him kind of just, his hand goes to his side. It's like, okay, you can kind of see the thought process, like, I could fight, but I definitely lose, and it's not worth it. Things are already blown. And let's see here. Yeah, so he's basically taken away. Before Oop, I'm sorry. What was that, Reza? You're doing something.
That was my yay.
Oh, yeah. I was like, put on the hat. I don't have a. Okay. Oh, that was yay. Okay, gotcha. Cool. So yes, yeah, he's kind of taken away, and yeah, he's basically taken to those back rooms as I described, like the people, the places the guests will never see. He's taken back there for probably questioning at the very least, if not more. Um, and things kind of go back to normal. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna say, let's see. So Jindo, Jindo, Anaya, and sorry, Isaac, Cora, and Reza are all together. Yes, ish. Castian is by the entrance. Things are kind of going back to normal. Castian, I'm going to allow you to kind of make a discipline roll.
Uh-huh.
This is a notice type of thing going on here.
So would it be for like the purposes of trailing him,
No,
or just like
I'm
observation?
I'm just telling you to make a roll.
Well, okay.
With an observation type of thing going on.
I'm gonna say this is part of duty because we are definitely in the position of trying to nab the bad guy at this point,
Right.
and anything could go here.
Correct. So yeah, do you have momentum if you want to spend it, if you care.
Um,
I'm going to call this. By the way, it's going to be a difficulty of. I'm going to make it a swing it a 4.
well, a 4. That's a lot of difficulty.
That's a lot of difficulty. You have momentum.
Yeah, and I'm just looking to see if anything makes this easier or harder. So
Yeah, let's take a look at
my traits are that I am a protector and that I'm solid and stoic.
Protector makes this easier.
Okay. So does that make it a 3? Okay.
Yep.
And so I think this other one, let me see if this applies. Not detect danger, hidden enemies, because I do have a talent for that.
Yes.
So I have constantly watching, which reduces the difficulty by 2.
Oh wow! So that's now you're back. Now you're down to 1.
So I will still spend a momentum,
Okay.
so that I'm rolling 3 dice. But now we have a reasonable test for me
Excellent.
with a complication, but
With
I
a
still had 2
complication.
successes.
All right. Excellent. Cool. All right. Cool. So I chose Castian for this because he's at a better vantage point for this, and I think he's more kind of, this is more his ballywick, if you will. I've been trying to work ballywick into a sentence for 4 weeks now, so thank you for allowing me this. Yeah. So one thing, it's kind of weird. So the various servants and whatnot are kind of going back to their duties now. They're doing their training where they like disperse people again. You don't want drama unless it's drama that makes people happy and intrigued. This is chaotic drama, and that's bad. So they're trained not to. So you can't see some people dispersing other people. The assistant to like that head servant, this also smaller woman, you see her not doing that. In fact, she's making a beeline towards. You can actually see Matthias. In fact, Matthias is waving to you, trying to get your attention.
Oh, and she's making a beeline to Matthias as well, right?
Well, yeah, she's going towards him, completely against the flow of the other servants.
Okay. I will. Maybe, but Matthias has a sudden interest in the ballot set, so I'm gonna head over in that direction.
All right, you aren't going to beat her there if that's what you're trying to do.
I don't think there's any way I could beat her there. is there anyone of the group that is nearer Matthias than I am?
Yeah, you're at a better vantage point to have seen the servant, but the group is at least somewhat closer. They could at least equal her speed there if they wanted to.
Then I'm gonna. I would assume if we have. So we do have hand signs to some degree, but we don't have full battle language. Is that correct?
Well, yeah. For purposes, I'm saying your snipped battle language is equivalent. So again, like your hand signals, battle language would convey things very simply, like a one word type of thing, like attack, danger, left flank, right flank. Things like that.
So
Things specifically to do with combat.
I think I can use if I can't handle this narratively, I think I have a talent that would apply. But I'm gonna hand signal to Reza and Anaya, who are closer to Matthias, and signal, danger, whatever flank he is on. Since I assume we don't have battle language for houses, or would we? Like, would we have like Atreides, as a word? Like, I don't know what the vocab would be.
Probably not. And again, in battle, you're kind of that you already know what the enemy is.
I could probably say like, danger house leader. I assume there's like a, head of state, type
or
word.
General.
Yeah, general. And motion to Matthias as I'm heading over. And maybe they'll see him trying to wave me down as well.
Right. Yeah. All three of the other part of the group would see that.
Okay. And so if I don't have the ability to if I didn't, I have the ability to direct, which allows me to actually have an ally take an action out of turn. If there was an issue with initiative or anything.
Ooh, nice setup. Awesome. That's really cool. And I just want to kind of take a moment to comment on the mechanics of the system. Like, it's so fun that we turned that difficulty 4 to a difficulty 1 just using the basic mechanics. It was easier because of a trait that he has. He has a talent that does the other thing. You guys are really good at what you choose to be good at. Of course, there is no such thing as a jack of all trades, but I think it's cool that you're all very competent in what you do, and the mechanics are kind of trying to put that on display. Again, this is a difficulty 4. That's really hard.
I went bodyguard, but I in no way meant like that I'm like the baddest person in the room. That's probably Jindo at the moment. My skills are more in the making sure that everyone around me doesn't die, whether it's allowing them to do something or finding the problem before it happens.
Right. Yeah. So you had because of your thing you're doing, and the rest of you have the same. So I like that a lot, and the fact that we have this other talent which may do other things to save the day.
So really cool. Danger him.
So I'll say the three of you are easily able to go over there, and kind of get access to Matthias. However, you don't know what Castian knows, or what he saw at least. We don't know what he knows. We don't actually know anything yet. We just know that there's this oddity that a bodyguard finds very suspect.
And I'm forcing my way through the crowd, using my size to my advantage in this case.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah. So I'm assuming all three of you are going to kind of follow the direction. Yes. Cool.
Yeah, I'll start slowly migrating that way.
Gotcha. And again, you're more apt to get there because the crowd is more dispersed in your area, whereas the kind of like, again, the ripples are kind of going outward. Castian was closer to the entrance than you guys were, which is out another ripple out, if you will. So yeah, you guys, I'm going to say you get there just as the assistant main servant gets to Matthias. and she's like, "My lord, there's this security issue. Would you please come my way?" And she makes a gesture towards him. Let's see. I don't know who's the best one for this. Jindo, Anaya, who would best see a potential weapon?
I think either one of us is a good choice, but yeah, there's probably movement that Jindo's seen a lot more as far as like, going for a blade or going for a weapon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so Anaya has body language as one of her focuses and understand. So yeah, she also would probably spot the motion of like a concealed weapon or someone who's going for a weapon.
Okay. I'm going to consider this more of a battle thing, so let's at least lead with Jindo. And plus, I don't think Jindo's gotten as much spotlight as I'd like him to get. And with Anaya definitely backing that up, potentially. That sound all right? Again, I want to make sure everybody gets good spotlight. I don't want to cheat anybody. And if you feel that I'm not getting you the spotlight you need, please don't be shy. That's not mean or rude or anything. That's helping me to help you do what I want. Yeah, for you. Anyway, yeah.
No, I think this makes sense. Yeah, with kind of me spotting, and then Anaya can support if need be.
Cool. All right. So let's see here. I think I will call this one like discipline. I think that's how it, because you're kind of like doing you're scrutinizing, you're looking for the tiny things. So let's go discipline. And what kind of drive are you looking at?
I would think probably duty. I mean, it's not. I mean, people are the true strength of a house. Doesn't necessarily mean our house. So
Cool. No, that makes sense. And this will be a difficulty 3, by the way.
Okay. I will. And this is just to spot it, is what we're doing.
If there's something to spot, yes.
Okay.
And potentially react to it should anything come to that.
Yeah. Let's spend a momentum to get an extra die.
Okay. Excellent. And okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead and make your roll. And let's see how you do. And if you get a success, at least one success, Anaya gets to help.
Oh, there's 2.
All right, excellent. Anaya, why don't you roll your 1d20? As you she notices her own little nuances. One success. You made it perfectly. So cool. So yeah, as she kind of she kind of reaches out her hand, it's like this. Nobody cocks their hand like that. This is what magicians use to palm cards. This is what assassins use to palm needles.
Blades.
Needles or blades, yes. Most likely needles. And she's literally going to put her hand there. And again, Naya, you see again, it's like this weird positioning of the hand. This is not how people do this gesture. And I'm assuming a little kind of nod to Jindo, and you guys have initiative thanks to Castian's talent. So who wants initiative?
I think
I was like, no, not me. I'm good.
Battle's not Anaya's thing. Like, she's here to help, but like someone else should take the lead on that.
I have no problem. Yeah. What I think I would probably do. Am I within? Like if I wanted to strike at her, am I close enough to do that?
Yes, you are.
I think what I would probably do is take my long blade, even though it's still in that stupid cage, and just, like as like a quick, I'm not trying to hurt her, I'm trying to deflect her hand. And so it doesn't matter if the blade is caged or not. I'm just trying to, slash and use that momentum to knock that blade off course or out of her hand if possible.
Gotcha. All right. Sounds cool.
Because I figure me trying to get it out of the cage and then do that is probably going to take more time than I would have right now. So
I would add
I'd
a
rather be
difficulty to
quicker.
that to make that happen. So if you want to make that happen, we can definitely just make it
I would
harder.
rather I would rather just be quick about it than be instantly lethal, I guess, or is my thinking right now. Also trying not to blow my cover immediately if I can help it.
Sure. All right. So let's see. So I'm going to set the thing here. I'm actually going to buy 2 dice. That'll take me down to 0 threat. So let's see. All right, and
So
let's see my
do you
target.
buy dice the same rate as we do? Like it's 3 to buy 2,
Yeah.
I think. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Yep. Did I have actually 4? I think I did. That's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned at this point. But yeah. So let's see. So the target for this will be, let's see. So I'm going to say a 14. So let's see how we do. Oh my. We got, is that like nothing and a complication? Well, geez. Alrighty then. And I did forget about the other complication, but I'm not too concerned with that. I'll give myself, I figured I didn't really get it then, so I'm not even going to give myself threat. But anyway, so cool. All right, go ahead and roll your roll.
And Scott, my complication was that I was too far away.
Oh, good. Perfect. Thank you so much. I like how Steve makes it look like I know what I'm doing. It's like, thanks, dude. I appreciate the assist. Much appreciated. So let's see. Jindo. All right. So let's see here. So it'll definitely be battle. You're not doing either of your main focuses there. But what are you looking for? You said duty was going to be. Is it duty again for this?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the same motivation.
Okay. And you are a Gina swordsman, which would make this easier, but it's already a 0. We can't get better than that, or that kind of thing. So as long as you don't really just totally mess this up, see how you do.
I mean, I can spend another one momentum to get another die just to help out. So that'll be rolling 3 again.
I think I threw in there, if you wanted to use a determination.
Oh, right. We can always use it after the fact to re-roll if necessary.
True.
What does it do before the roll? You get an automatic crit, I think.
Yeah, one of your dice is automatically set to a 1, which is automatic critical already. Even if you don't have a focus, it still counts as a critical. So 2 successes for that one.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Unless things go horribly wrong, you're going to be okay. So you can always use them to re-roll. This is like literally the easiest roll you can get in this game. So go for it. You got this. Nice. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still 3.
Yeah, still 3. So yeah. Okay, let's give you back some momentum. How the momentum tide turns. Awesome. Cool. So yes, you're kind of Anaya. You kind of see the oddity here and kind of give Jindo the signal. Jindo is already totally moving. Reza, I'm going to say Reza's not quite sure what's going on yet, except that Jindo just literally used his sheathed weapon as like a baton. And I'm going to say the hand that was like this is now turned upwards, and I'm going to say her hand is probably broken. She's literally defeated at this point. So you basically all right there, plain and simple, can see this. You can't see the list. You see an actual a needle right there. It was literally centimeters away from being used on on the Atreides.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have a thing I put in the Roll20 chat that I have a talent that when I win a conflict using battle, I get some bonus momentum to use for obtaining information or creating a trait.
Ooh. Nice. Ooh, cool. Yeah, so you win a conflict battle, you gain 2 bonus momentum points. Okay, so it's only used for this. So it's a use them or lose
Yeah.
them type of thing. So what do you want? Do you want to do any of that? And also, thank you all for being in charge of your character sheets. You're doing great.
No, I've just been staring at all this dueling battle stuff and being like, soon.
Right?
So we don't really know her. I would love to know her employer. If we if we aren't already able to piece that together, like I feel like with that broken arm, I slip the cage off of the blade, get very close, and just try to like lean on that broken arm heavily and it just interrogate or who do you work for?
Who does number
Who
2
sent
work
you?
for? That's really interesting. All right, so you're let's see here. So that okay, so you're using inspiration. That makes sense. All right, that's a weird use of it, but it makes sense in this situation.
I know we don't really
say-
have to make obtain information make narrative sense, but like I don't know, that seems like something that makes narrative sense and is also fun.
So you as you kind of press it, like everyone around you is like freaked out. They're rich people run for the hills. Suddenly, like shields are popping up everywhere. Pew, 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 pew. That kind of thing. There are no heroes in this room of rich people. And she kind of she grits her teeth and she goes from this very pleasant facade of pleasant servant, obedient, pliable, to like this hardened, assassin creature in front of you. It's like grit teeth is like, you're probably just about making it a compound fracture. And she's like, oh, Harkonnen, no, stop it, no more. And she is defeated. So and as a note, Matthias is literally aghast. He's like, he realized he literally just almost died. So since we're at a cool spot where we can actually do a quick scene change, and we're at our halfway mark, let's do our break, and we'll come back in 10 and kind of get the next scene going. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. See you guys shortly. All right. We are back. So, yes. So there we were. So this basically goes to a montage of like there's a scene where like there's such a thing as like a Gildrun security, makes their face known here, that kind of thing. They kind of sweep in, and you guys are maintaining the situation. You have like the guard and this other woman in room in the back. By now you've broken your covers, at least Jindo has. If the others of you want to retain it for some kind of future reference, that's cool. But Jindo's definitely like he is not what he seems to be.
Yeah, I think if I'm out, then like the shield is on, the blades are out. This is now a Gildrun investigation, and like I wouldn't try to out any of the rest of you, but like if you guys want to move more subtly at this point, if that's something we want to do, I don't know.
Yeah, Anaya's cover might fully be broken at this point, or pretty close to it, given that she came with Jindo / Isaac, and also she already told Craig that this was a House Gildrun matter anyway, and blew her cover to him. So,
Gotcha.
You mean that's not your dad?
oh my god! How did I not know?
And I think Casper is trying to still maintain his cover, maybe, because he was there as a patron of Reza, who is House Gildrun, so she has a reason to be there. So I'm more of just like observing and occasional whisper to her like what's going on, to keep the facade going.
Well, this is messed up my night of Balisant playing, I'll have you know. Type of thing, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, Reza and Casper will definitely maintain their cover. The others will be blown for the moment. You know how intelligence leaks, though. It's also like telephone, so things do get messed up along the way. But yeah, so we're in a montage of Jindo and Anaya making sure that overseeing the guards, who are then overseen by Gildrun security, and before you know it, you're all in a ground car to the nearest spaceport. And it's basically like the same Gildrun security cadre that came in are also the same one who communicate with you that you've been summoned back to the palace. And this is not normal. This is probably outside of Castian, who was naturally there. This is probably the first time for the other three of you that you've been like specifically called back to the palace. Like this is where the Baron lives, type of thing. So this is strange. But yeah, you're immediately in this ground car. You have time for discussion before you hit the spaceport. Next thing you know, you're on a super orbital shuttle that kind of basically instead of going to a guild highliner, it circles around and drops you off to the spaceport. Actually, it's more likely it's just another guild ship shuttling people back and forth, and it just so happens they have to go to the spaceport too, so you carry on that. So the guild's in charge of all the travel. But yeah, so it's like basically it's a suborbital shuttle that you're on. Circumnavigate the planet, come to the spaceport you need, and yeah, you get off there and you're heading into like the Gildrun palace area. And as such, things are like, things suddenly jump. You see kind of like the outskirts. Gildrun, again, it's very, very much about selling its people, not selling its people, but showing its talent that then get their people out there that make its money. So like, as you might imagine, there are these, training houses and small amateur level theaters as people train up their skills that aren't all in the city. You have these, ones away in the outback so that there's no distractions. And, this is the best place to learn to juggle, that kind of thing. Gildrun takes this kind of thing quite seriously. There are meccas for these kinds of things all throughout the planet. And, they're key players. But yeah, so you kind of see a few of these as you kind of go from the nearby spaceport, which is pretty much just outside the palace, enough to give it like deniable protection. Should something weird happen, but like right there for the convenience of the people who are migrating, to and from the palace itself to elsewhere. And if you thought the salon was opulent, this is like next level stuff. Like you're kind of brought in and you're immediately escorted in by, palace guards. Caston, you probably know several of them. They were like when you left the fold, as it were, they were probably trainees, and now they look like they're like lieutenants of the guard type of thing going on.
Yeah, and I'm back in my standard uniform, and I'll give them a nod as I pass. Recognition. I think Anaya is probably the only one that would likely pick up the fact that maybe I'm not happy being here. In the sense of, oh gee, I get to visit the person that I once called my father.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, you're all able to change. This is the palace. You are going into the special place. So, what do you look like? What is the clothing you change into for formally going to the actual Gildrun palace? What does it look like, Reza?
I think your Reza is actually going to dress a little more demure for once. Um, Probably just like a nice black dress, kind of like maybe like a emulating Bene Gesserit type of like a hijab sort of thing set up, or uh, scarf over the face or something like that.
Cool, nice. How about Anaya? What are you dressed as?
Yeah, Anaya is wearing a dress that is, like more of a formal dress, but it's not necessarily as ostentatious as some of the stuff she's worn elsewhere. This one, I have a picture, I'll put it in the chat, but this one is white, and it has black lace at the bottom and at the top. So it is one of her less ostentatious dresses, but that is still, reasonably ostentatious in her own right.
Gotcha. Are there any Bene Gesserit trappings, like, oh yeah, that's a Bene Gesserit over there, type of thing?
There might be a few, because in this context, like going in to report to the house, it's okay for her to do that. It's not something she otherwise normally flaunts, given
Gotcha.
just her position and, what she is doing.
Sure. And this is known to be like you're allowed to let your guard down here. This is the place to do that. So yeah, even though Anaya is constantly kind of undercover, if you will, for that purposes. Who knows? It's for her to appear as a Bene Gesserit would be quite acceptable, and especially since she's the peace offering, if you will. It would almost be like a great thing to have some, I'm a Bene Gesserit. I'm serving the house.
Yeah, she would probably
I'm
have like some
good
kind
guy.
of Bene Gesserit headwear or like jewelry or something like that would mark her out. Not necessarily the dress itself.
Perfect. Cool. How about Jindo?
You said we could kind of let our guard down, but I feel like as a military man, he would probably still be sort of like in dress blues kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably okay. Stuff myself into these again.
Yeah, and by letting your guard down, it's more like you can let the facades drift away here.
Right,
We're
not
allowed.
in
You're allowed.
character.
You're not in character. You're not part of the troupe right now. You are a direct servant of the Baron, for all intents and purposes, type of thing.
Yeah. I think I would probably just be wearing the kind of standard attire. If I'm allowed to still wear my blades, then I would wear them and display them proudly, because they are sort of connected to the house symbolism. So
Right. Yeah, you aren't stopped from that. But yeah, you kind of things. You're in the palace, but things are definitely business. You've been summoned for a reason. Let's see here. Yeah. So you find yourself in a rather large room. This is House Gildrun. Every room is a stage, so to speak. There's this one in particular it's very much it's almost like a very opulent lecture hall, where there are decent sized tables around the circumference of the room, and the speaker would be in the center, in the round, so to speak. Just walking in, you can feel the acoustics of the room are just right for whoever's in the middle. Their voice carries to every corner without much effort, and that kind of thing. As you walk in, you notice some other very familiar faces, or there are other troops gathered there. There's about another 4 or 5 of them. Let's say 5. And these are the people who are just like you. You're actually agents within the various entertainment troops doing what they do. So the other 5, 6 including you, are very much on the same level. You're the eyes and ears and the swords as need be. And you kind of probably take a minute to kind of see them. They are also kind of letting their guard down, so to speak, but it's like being in a freaking room of theater arts majors. They always have to put on the airs. It's like that. They're always a little in character, etc., etc. But yeah, they kind of see you and see you see them, and you get the kind of cordial nods, as, oh, I noticed that one's missing from that group. I wonder what happened over there. Joro was a pretty talented individual, but slip-ups happen, and that kind of thing. There's just kind of talk amongst each of the tables. It's kind of, the other tables aren't intermixing, if you will, so you kind of take the cue and stay amongst your own at your table. At the table there's like a snooper in the center of it, and there are flagons of wine in various flagons, decanters, glasses for you to drink from refreshment, light fruit, that kind of thing. This is like you might be here for a little while, so be comfortable. The room itself is rather large. Like, the ceiling is 30 meters high. It's you can kind of see at the very top, if you look up, are like tapestries draped over, almost like a big top shape, if you will, with that conical top with the tapestries coming down from a center point, and then various paintings of vertically long vertical slats of scenes of entertainers or former Gildrun nobles from centuries past, and that kind of thing. The floor itself is very much, it's like all marble, and it's made out in like the pattern of a compass. So there's like rays of delineation here, and each table falls within one of those. So 36 degrees apiece if you're counting. I just did the math. Yeah, and like it's again, this is an ornate room. Things are kind of quiet. There's like that echoey sound. How when you're in like the big voluminous library or concert hall, there's the stirrings, but when the door closes, suddenly that kind of echoes through. And you see the person as Viridian Kloss, I'm sorry, who is like the House Gildrun's like head advisor. This person is known to be, was a member of the Spacing Guild. That's quite well known, and that's kind of one of the reasons that House Gildrun took them on. And they, them are the proper pronouns for this person. They're very non-distinct in dress and look, and seems very much on purpose and naturally. Both. So Viridian crosses to the center, and this might be the first time you've actually seen them. They kind of are a smallish, wiry person, with very tight-fitting, like a what's the word, like a surcoat type of thing, where it's kind of like that tight thing on the body and voluminous sleeves, and there's they're wearing a shield belt with a small blade on one side at the hip. High boots, glossy, so glossy that like the slightest touch would require you to rebuff them, etc. And they stride into the room very purposefully, carrying a sheaf of papers and some other items. And as they kind of get to the center, a servant kind of comes in and brings the rough equivalent of like a podium with a side desk on it, and they put it down, and the servant's gone in an instant. Viridian speaks up, like, please enjoy your refreshment. You've all been working hard, and the house appreciates it. And he actually takes up his own glass from the podium and raises it. To the health of the Baron. And drinks. And they're all like, why is my throat tightening up? Kidding. Yeah. No. So, so they're like, everyone is kind of now expectant. Again, you get the feeling that a lot of people, this is their first time actually seeing Viridian in the flesh. You've all read briefings or bits of intelligence that have passed through their hands and have their signature on it or seal, if you will, that's like from them. But this is kind of like an awe-inspiring moment. And they are kind of like, wait a few seconds rather, for that to kind of sink in.
How long have they served with the house?
I will say probably around 15 years. So this is like the first. The one you used to call father is the first generation that's been served by them.
With my passive scrutiny, is there anyone here that looks? Yes, is there anything that looks like it might be threatening or out of place at all, or just something that is unusual for a meeting like this?
I will say no.
Okay.
Other than the fact that this meeting is taking place at all. Again, this is your first time, so this is very out of place. But there is nothing dangerous. At least now not that would meet those requirements.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions or just kind of inner thoughts? You're allowed to share those also. It's very Dune. Barring any. So Viridian kind of again gives a little bit for that to all sink in, their presence. And we have a problem. We have an enigma that we're slowly figuring out. And it's taken each of your groups to put puzzle pieces together. And to cut to the chase, as they say, it would seem that House Harkonnen has been trying to manipulate us to believe that we are under House Lautrec attack far more than we actually are. That their level of threat is far higher than it is. We haven't put the entire puzzle together yet, but it certainly looks like they're trying to push us into escalating our intelligence gathering and attacks against them. Retaliatory, in essence. But we've been able to discern that House Harkonnen is behind it. Each of you has probably seen tidbits of it, some more recent than others, and he kind of points to your table, or they kind of point to your table. In fact, I'm certain that the intelligence report on Alexis Deimos has been across most of your desks, and she was a duped individual in this herself, thinking that she was escaping to House Lautrec when House Harkonnen was actually manipulating her. A plan within a plan. And we haven't gotten to the next level. What is the plan within the plan within the plan? However, we do need to retaliate. Certainly not against House Lautrec. But Harkonnen needs to feel a bit of a bite from us. A little jab to know that we know that something is afoot. And each of you will be participating in that. You've already shown yourselves to be quite adept at what you do. You have potential to move up within the ranks of this house. And I think this is the next level of test for each of you. And I hope that you welcome this challenge. If you prefer not to participate, because of the level of danger involved, I completely understand. And please excuse yourself from the room, but just know that this will end your career with our organization. Like, nobody moves. Nobody even flinches. There's like, if someone so much as, little eye twitch, they'd be out of the room already. You get distinct feeling that wasn't just the opportunity for people to excuse themselves, but to be forcibly excused. But yeah, it seems like everybody's kind of steadfast. You, in kind of like your, and I apologize for doing all this monologue. I really want to get you guys role playing here, but I just want to set the scene. This kind of important one. Kind of when you were kind of doing your travels back, they did provide you with some intelligence reports, and you see like some of the things that these other groups have done. And so, that other individual I mentioned was actually killed in an assignment, Jero. They're gone. Killed by what turned out to be, a turned Gildrun person, turned by a House Harkonnen agent, etc. There's other groups that have a bit more ire towards the Harkonnen than even you all do, and they are ready to get some payback, and that much is obvious. Viridian looks to everyone. So shortly, I'll distribute your assignments to you. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves. You deserve some respite. We have some time before this next set of missions goes out. It will be perfectly timed. It will be one consolidated front, an attack against House Harkonnen, enough to repay them for their efforts against us. Until then, I bid you farewell, study your assignments, and in the meantime, enjoy respite. And I'm here to tell you, as you move up the ladder of trust and responsibility within this house, within your refined specialties, respite is harder and harder to come by. So use it when you can. And now to your health. And he drinks a drink, sets down the flask, and leaves. Now you have another 5 teams in there with you, all talking about amongst themselves, and they haven't. No one's gotten their assignments yet, but everybody's like wondering what it could be, and that kind of thing. And they're talking amongst themselves. Now you can actually break apart, and if you want to talk to other groups, that's normal and acceptable. In fact, you might see other people who have swapped out of your troop and gone to work with other troops, other teams. So that's at your that English word that means that it's up to you. That I don't quite recall at the moment.
Discretion?
But sure, that works. Discretion. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, that was exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Jonathan is my English to Scott translator. Thank you. But yes, and actually, I'm giving you also the opportunity to create your own NPCs. Who you talk to becomes an actual person. So if you choose to do so. So this is me indulging you in that part also. And you may see them again. You probably will. Hint, hint, foreshadowing. Could happen. All right. I'll say actually, there is one person that comes to your table. And it is Marcellus. He is, strangely enough, his role within his own troop is as a mime. The art of the mime. One of the most dreaded arts of all entertainment that exists in any time, past, present, or future, or distant future. And he's very a gaunt type individual. You've all touched base with him. In fact, he was probably one of the people that came through your troop at one point briefly as you kind of were in charge of, your job was to kind of transport him to get to his site to do his thing. His specialty is assassination. He's a poisoner. Poison is his thing. It is his total thing. It's his bag. He's very, even his hands are very, he has those hands that, he could, cross any 2 fingers at the same time without really having to worry about it. Very flexible. He's almost magician in what he does. Which he's kind of demonstrated for you in the brief time that he was with you. the all the paint that he wears and doing his miming is taking its toll over the years, and he's like the chalkiest individual you've ever seen in your life. He kind of steps up to you. So it's been a while. Oh, you're muted if you're saying something, Steve.
I'm going to say Marcellus, wasn't it?
He's like, Castian, that hurts me deeply. Certainly, I thought for certain my very presence emblazoned my name upon your hearts and souls for all of time. Acting majors, killing me. Theater people.
I do think I even mutter performers,
Yeah. It's like, Reza, you're looking lovely.
Why, thank you, darling. So what I'd really like to know is who's going to write the new play that we're just going to put on in front of the Harkonnens to let them know we know.
Oh, I'm certain that's in the hands of others with different talents than our own. Though I'm certain that we can suggest that, Reza, you sing an aria from it. And looks over to Jindo. Jindo, you are looking spectacular in those dress blues.
Yes.
I've never wanted to be a shield belt so much in my life.
I would say I appreciate the compliment, Marcellus, but well,
Oop, I missed the last part.
he kind of alludes to the fact that like he would say something sort of scathing there, but then kind of reins it back in and just says, "I appreciate the compliment."
And he's like, and greetings to Anaya. And Anaya knows that he specifically doesn't compliment Anaya because he has this thing against Bene Gesserit. So it's like, of course, they always get the high compliments and stuff. Oh, you're so elegant. You're so wonderful.
Who has better control over their body, a mime or a BG?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's where my brain is going to.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of green-eyed envy there.
Yeah, Anaya will just incline her head, but doesn't say anything.
Yeah, we never really did establish what the thing was, but whatever it was that the Bene Gesserit did that kind of fell out, he was probably
involved in some way. Yeah,
in some probably not some very close way, but close enough where it was like those damn witches. He's one of those witch. He calls you witch every time behind your back.
That comes with the territory, I think, and not too hard people who do it.
Yeah. So yeah, he kind of puts a hand over, kind of waves to you, and his hand goes over the table, and you see kind of like he's actually doing it. All of you will actually, you know what? Let's do a roll. That's for case we haven't rolled dice in a while. I'm gonna say Anaya's the noticing one at the moment. So Anaya, why don't you roll to see what he's doing?
So I'm gonna go with understand, so I can use my body language focus, I think.
Yeah, I think that for purposes of this, that would work just great.
Yeah.
And what for your drive?
I think I'm gonna go with truth here. Seems appropriate.
You're looking for some kind of thing.
Yeah. I got 3 successes.
All right. You actually, you've lost momentum. It's a new scene, so you'll get that one back. But yeah, Anaya, you see him doing the old assassin's trick of, like Oh, the glass has been already scanned for poison. That's great. Well, here I've already scanned it, so it's nice and safe. And here you go. Hand goes over the top of it to grab it from the top, and grains of poison fall in from the crooks of his hands, and now it's poisoned after being tested. And he kind of does that thing as he kind of like gestures to you, like, "Oh, it's so good to see most of you." You know.
So he's actually
and
poisoning our glasses.
he put there a grains of something goes in the glasses.
And Naya's just gonna give him this look like, amateurs. Do you really expect us to fall for that?
There's just a little bit of sugar to sweeten the drink, if you will. I have to see how my competition is looking. And he kind of turns away, and you hear the witch. And then he walks away, regardless of what anybody says to him at this point.
And then I look at the other three and say, you probably don't want to drink that.
All right. So now I'm turning the show over to you. Who do you want to meet? What's the NPC you're about to create and talk to? I'll give you, if you can, if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I'm giving each of the opportunity to create an NPC that you talk to right now and name. Because I don't name your NPCs. Haha. Haha, I've turned it on you. The tables have been turned. Don't mess with the GM and multiple characters and NPC naming ever.
I mean, it would be in character for Anaya to go schmooze with everyone here, but I have no idea who she would go talk to.
So,
anyone else?
Would there be like any of the sort of like I'm trying to think what you would call them. I guess generals or any sort of like military staff, I guess that that Jindo would know or have maybe served under in the past?
I'm going to say they're, generally speaking, the people who would be at these tables are not at like a general level. You wouldn't have served under them, but you could certainly have served with them, either at equal rank or higher rank, actually.
Right, like a squad mate or something, maybe.
Yeah, like you're a squad member under your leadership. Gino may not be a general, but he certainly isn't a lowly, enlisted person type of thing, or lower ranked officer type. So probably the equivalent of a captain in the army, of our army, if you will.
Okay. Well, I have like a warfare asset that is like a group of troops, but maybe one of them is there. And we could name them or something. So
Cool. Yeah. By we naming them, you mean you, of course, because I've already told you, you get to name your own NPCs. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha.
I think that I would. I think like maybe the sergeant for this little squad that like I've kind of worked with before. Like maybe they're a little more specialized than just your average troop. So let's call this guy. How about David? And let's say that he has like I feel like this guy is probably makes Jindo look a little bit more refined standing next to, like he's kind of
rough and tumble.
Yeah. So maybe that's, Jindo kind of goes to him to kind of, hey, kind of like just shoot the shit water cooler talk kind of stuff. But it's also a sort of like familiarity, you can kind of relax around this person because you've been through hell together. You both have an understanding.
Sure. Yeah, so as you approach David, I'm assuming that's his last name. Most military people know each other by their surnames, not their first.
Yeah.
So so sergeant or whatever the rough equivalent is, I'll have to look that one up. I think in the later books they do use like basic sergeant type stuff for that kind of thing. I think yeah. But anyway, neither here nor there for the moment. But yeah, so David he kind of sees you coming towards him, and though you're all in the same like level, if you will, in this room, you're all agents, There are certainly are agents who have more seniority and that kind of thing, but theoretically, you're all kind of on the same level of the organization, the Gildrun organization, if you will. But for the second, you almost see him kind of come to attention as his officer comes by, and kind of you can see that initial like, okay, and he kind of picks up his drink and takes a drink, salutes in your direction.
At ease. No, I just immediately, try to tell him at ease that this is not that sort of visit.
Yeah, he has a big, I'm going to say it's a big like scar that goes down the side of his face. You were probably there when he got it. It was like this soldier that he just totally like decimated. This he again, he's a roughhouser. He is not a duelist like you. So you're probably there to see this combat take place on the battlefield in one of the smaller skirmishes you were in with him, and he in an effort to stop the opponent from moving, had them totally backed in up against like a rock formation, and like they could not retreat, and he just basically moved the blade in. The person tried, the other soldier tried to like put up a fight, and all they could do, because of the way that David's stance was, and his arms were kind of holding him and using like the shields to push back and against each other, the best he could do was basically run the knife along his face pretty deeply. But again, that's, of all the places you want to be stabbed, that's not a bad place, for that kind of thing. And the weirdest thing the weirdest thing was like, it's like he didn't care. He's like, you could see in his eyes, even from the distance you were at, it was like, oh yeah, I'm getting a nice, jagged cut running up the side of my face, but I have my knife in their gut and it's irrelevant. That kind of like, it's like, who cares? I got the kill. I'm not
Right.
I'm not truly hurt.
Good job done.
Yeah. Just like, you could see this like merciless thing. It was like, he could have had the guy surrender and decided it was just, yeah, enemy die type of thing. But David is very much, you can see he's happy to see another soldier there. And, especially yourself. And he's like, so have they taken you off world with your last few missions, or have you been staying around Orbos also?
Just here on Orbos. Although I did get a pretty sweet gig my last posting.
Are you allowed to say, or is it still under review?
That's out of character. That is a good question.
Generally, even amongst cells, yeah, until you're told something is cleared, no one else has a reason to know. No one else, the proverbial need to know is not there. So yeah, no, you really can't tell him.
Yeah, I just kind of shrug and clink his glass, and I just immediately change the subject because we're both probably used to that. And just ask him, so how's my favorite retrieval specialist been holding up?
Retrieving. Sadly, nothing of note. I can tell you that much. I've been bored. I'm happy for this assignment. Something finally good. I want to get my feet on another planet's soil. I want to grind my boots into that soil, and then I want to find someone's face to grind it into.
I love your feed. It's so refreshing.
I told you I was never going to retire. I'll hold a blade till the day I die.
Retirement, what's that?
Quite. He turns away. Pretty competent team. I recognize two of them.
Can I tell which two he means?
Probably not.
Okay, I'll let it go.
Okay. Yeah, this is a clandestine group. It's like, for all you know, they might have been in his troop before. He might have been sent to like do their background check or survey them.
You'd be bluffing too.
He could be bluffing. There are so many webs of freaking lies and deceptions going on in this room out of necessity that it's funny. It's like, do you really know anybody?
Right. Well, they're very capable, and we've gotten in some scrapes recently, but nothing we can't handle. I don't know though. I'm eager to see some foreign soil myself, although I'm not so sure I'm up for boot grinding. I'd rather see someone face to face and settle it more directly.
Well, the grinding happens after that.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Fair enough. It's like, I need to speak to one of my troop mates. Just make sure wherever you go doesn't have a lot of water. If you have to swim, those metals will weigh you down and take you to the bottom.
Metals? No, they're
Yeah, in your time with him, he's been busted down in rank so many times. He's a perpetual sergeant. As soon as he makes rank, he does something just totally out of line or brutal, or goes above and beyond what he should have for a given thing. That it's like now you're a sergeant again. And
who he kind of reminds me of. I don't know if you've ever seen the HBO Rome show. But there's a Legionnaire in it, played by Ray Stevenson, called Titus Pullo, that is like exactly what you were describing.
I will have to watch that now. But no, I watched one episode, and I'm here to tell you, I saw some attacks, but they weren't with knives, if you know what I mean, in that show. So, anyway, but yes, I'll have to watch that.
I take my leave of him and make my way back to our table.
Perfect. So anyone else want to create an NPC of their very own-ish?
I can. I think one of the other groups is Evelyn Richens. Evelyn was, in my youth, a page to my sister Arabella. So I'm creating two NPCs, since you haven't named my sister yet.
What was your sister's name?
Arabella.
Arabella. Nice.
But she was a page before her talent at subterfuge. Specifically, Evelyn could, lie well enough to fool, we'll say a Bene Gesserit apprentice at least. She was just very good and, very no tells at all, really displayed. But that earned her a place in one of the companies, specifically doing the same work we do.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Does she approach you, or do you approach her?
I'll approach her.
Okay. When she sees you coming, she ends up meeting you halfway. And as she gets to you, she has a drink in her hand, it's kind of like in front of her face, very, coquettishly, as she kind of like then curtsies to you, my lord.
Enough of that, Evelyn.
But young master, I never completely break myself of the habit. Oh, habit. That's what the nuns of your order wear, isn't it?
Say, was it the habit of lying or the habit of serving?
Both.
So what have you been up to in your group? Harkonnen in her ways?
Yes. She kind of like takes a nice drink from her glasses. You can see it's kind of one of her tells. That's how she gets time to like improv. She'll do something with a beverage or food or item in her hand. It's all been quite boring, I assure you. I dream of the day when they'll finally let me do some knife work, but here we are. They just keep me lying and lying and lying.
You earned your ability to do that a number of times from what my sister used to tell me.
Well, if your sister told you, I wasn't doing it very well, was I?
Well, it wasn't so much catching you, so much as others being blamed and eventually proof coming your way. But you were learning, I'm sure.
She kind of like says it aghast. I have never been guilty of such a crime.
Like,
I'm a servant to the house.
Have you heard from her recently?
And this is actually a break from everything else where you can't talk, because this is not really a matter of secrecy or relationship outside of the troupe with your sister. So yes, she can finally, you can see that she's in truth telling mode, and I've seen her, and I can tell you that she misses you. Your brother's not at all.
It's to be expected. I know. I'm sure Vincent's still being cranky with Luther's selection. And I'm sure Luther doesn't have any issues with me passing it up. It's just a shame about, well,
The other
I'm referring
brother.
to the other brother that was, killed. I'll let you come up with that name.
Killing me.
I will have to make time if we're in if our orders aren't to ship out immediately to see her before we go.
I'm sure she'd like it. Bring some daisies with you. She'd appreciate them. Is there still time to leave that order of yours?
Like, I mean, there's always time, but there's no desire.
That's what I've been told about your order. No desire.
Like, a number of things. And I'll just smirk a little bit. I'm like, a number of things can happen before someone takes their vows of chastity.
I'm happy to say I wasn't one of them.
Like, how would I say it? I think I'd even say, not all bees prefer that particular flower.
She raises her glass. Here's to that. Just visit your sister if you can. I'm sure arrangements can be made.
I will, and it's a pleasure to see you again.
And she kind of turns away, not saying anything in return. She knows you broke your sister's heart. So she kind of mingles her way elsewhere. Reza, did you want to make up an NPC?
Yes.
Ooh.
Reza is still kind of in, like, she was very, straight-faced, kind of coming into the whole thing with the Duke. Now that we can kind of hang out a little bit, her bubbly, flirting personality is coming out again. And from across the room, she sees an old friend of hers, Inez! And it's somebody that they went to Mentat school together with. They're non-binary. They're also learning to act and do spine. They both had a love for House Gildrun while they were in Mentat school, so it was kind of like one of those things where they decided they were going to go join it up together. And they would practice their disguise skills with each other, take each other's classes or tests while the other person was at the movies or whatever, just so they could break away without getting in trouble. And recently, Inez has started to be a Reza impersonator, as in their way of making a living. So technically, Reza kind of almost has a body double.
All right, and what's her name again?
This asset will never come under harm at all.
There we go. It's Inez, that's with a Y.
And did you
Oh,
say
yeah,
they, them,
so-
or I thought you said non-binary, so I wasn't sure pronouns.
Yeah, they, them.
Yes, it will never be harmed. And yes, awesome. So I have to say that in your description, I had this like, is this like the espionage workers version of doing each other's hair and makeup? Oh, I'm putting you in disguise. You put me in disguise. We'll do something else. Type of thing. I could see those parties happening.
Yeah, Mentat college hijinks, exactly.
Did she graduate and become a mentat?
They did, yes.
They did, yes. Excellent.
They were like maybe a year or two behind Reza, but they always looked up to Reza.
Gotcha. Cool. Will you approach them,
Unfortunately,
or will they
have
approach
to
you?
use. I probably approached them, but they're one that they don't have my singing voice. They don't have Reza's singing voice. They have to use recordings. So.
They never could. Lip syncing in the Duneverse. Who knew? Cool. So I will say they'll be dressed very in a non-binary fashion also. Kind of, that androgynous look, a little of this, a little of that, fine silk. So you can see they like the good things in life.
They probably dress very non-binary, but they still probably wear like a little bit of makeup, like you do when you go to court. Like what is it called when you have
Rouge,
like a mole or
the beauty mark thing.
Yeah, beauty mark, sort of thing.
Yeah, and yeah, again, that sounds exactly reminiscent of how, for example, men in the theater way back when we used to play women, and that was very much their look. So again, this is all which again, I'm all about androgyny at this point. But yeah. So they're happy to see you, and as you kind of come over, they get a seat for you at their table and sit down, kind of gesturing to it, waiting for you to join.
And I start to just kind of catch up with them, ask them what they've been doing, and they explain kind of what they've gotten into recently with the Reza impersonation. So now it's like people are like, oh, well, I saw Reza here. Oh, but I saw Reza here, and sort of thing. And just kind of going about each other and asking how they're doing, if they're doing well in their spycraft.
Cool. You're going to notice, and this is something that Reza would. Where is Reza? This is something that Reza specifically would notice because one, again, you've kind of established that hey, you did each other's makeup or disguises and that kind of thing, and you can see while you might be allergic, she is very much entrenched in the whole Sefu thing. The red stains, the capillaries in her lips are definitely burst in, like she's a full-on addict. And that's covered up with makeup. That's you can kind of okay. Oh, I can see like a subtle outline there and there. Oh, those are blood vessels. Okay, yes, okay, yes. So whereas you might not have gone that route. I think you said you're allergic, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she is fully entrenched. So yeah, and you can kind of you also get that kind of again mentat to mentat thing where you can see her doing like micro analyses as you're talking, that type of thing. So you can see she's veered away from, the full on trying to impersonate Reza, and more, like her function within her group is likely more of a mentat than yours presently is. That type of thing. And this is something that your mentat mind would probably put together quite easily.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, they're using her as a mentat, not anything else. She's their, memorizer, strategizer, second guesser, type of thing. And I'm assuming like she sees you realize that, and kind of leans forward and says, "I'm happy for our time together. I just don't know how much longer I can be Reza. They might my own skills, my desires, and my team are pushing me away from trying to pursue that."
Well, sweetie, whatever you need to do. I know we've enjoyed playing each other through our years, and I really would want you to be happy, especially in knowing that you're now in House Gildrun. You're finally here. You don't have to keep being me. You can be yourself.
She's, like, well, I served the house, but I was also hoping that, yes, you wouldn't be upset or sad that we're diverging on that. I know that we've been close for years now, and it's one of the friendships I've chosen to maintain in my time as an agent here with Gildrun.
Reza has like a single tear coming down the side of her face, knowing that this is happening.
And she's like, well, at least when they see Reza, they see the true item soon.
I guess it just came about there could only be one Reza.
There always could only be one. That I assure you. It just kind of reaches out, touches your cheek, wipes away your tear.
I reach back and touch their cheek. Don't forget it's they, them.
Yeah, sorry about that. They're like, yes, just, and also remember they're watching. Kind of,
I nod.
almost kind of, quasi scold you over the show of emotional tear type thing.
Hey, Reza doesn't get to be herself very often.
True. Who is Reza? That's a really awesome question. Who is Reza? That's an entirely different campaign on its own right there. Which maybe somebody will start. Who knows?
We don't need that campaign.
We don't need that campaign. Okay. Just putting it out there. So, yeah, they're very much like, trying to catch you up. They're, like, you can see how excited they are to actually function as a mentat. And how exciting it is. It's like they're talking about, first approximation analyses and how the team depends on her, and how it's like, how on them, and how they're kind of like this, they've become this linchpin in their own team because of it. But at the same time, they miss the abilities that you two shared. And moving away from that has made her less valuable in this other sense. So they're you can see them kind of like torn, like, I want to do this, but I was really good at that, and these are both useful, but what does the house need is the end product of this equation. And you can kind of see that in their eyes. It's like they're going to be what they need to be for the house.
And Reza starts feeling a little bit bad on herself because she doesn't get to experience that full mentat capability, and she feels a little bit bad on herself, but she knows that she can play on her other strengths. From this conversation, kind of realizing this.
Potentially her own calculation coming to fruition, whether she realized it or not.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so after a while, they'll kind of bid you farewell and go on to the next. Looks like they have other people to connect with for, one reason or another. So yeah. Anaya, did you have anyone you wanted to connect with? Create?
I am going to invent the house choreographer.
Ooh.
Whose name is Nadine.
Nadine.
And and who I assume is here. I feel like Nadine probably spends time with each troupe, but like doesn't necessarily belong to any of them.
Oh, cool.
Because she's responsible for choreographing all of the dancers making sure everyone has the latest and greatest routines.
Right, I'm assuming like she's also very much in charge of, okay, I know you're a spy, but we got to make it believable that you can dance. So I'm the one that's going to make you hurt for weeks on end to make that facade possible.
Yeah,
Type of person.
exactly. So yeah, I think Anaya would just walk up to say hello, and basically just be like, anything new coming down the pike that I should be aware of?
And she kind of she didn't see you approach, and she kind of turns and she immediately waves away the person she was talking to. They're like, and the other person looks just like kind of shocked, like, that's rude, that's not right, but just turns away. And Nadine turns fully towards you with drink in hand. It's like, if it isn't my second most favorite student.
And most after who?
I'll keep you guessing. That'll make you want to work harder no matter what. Refine your craft.
I suppose that's fair.
She kind of looks around and gets a little closer to you. And so how many times have you heard the word witch just being bandied about here? I think it's quite unfair.
I've only been here 10 minutes today, and as you know, already at least once.
I'm sorry for that. The old habits die hard, but I'm here to tell you that you're a boon to the house, and we're happy to have you. We're blessed, if one might say so.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm doing the best work that I can for the house.
So she kind of looks around, kind of looks towards your table. So do your knife fighters get out of hand at all? The ones I've been paired with seem to draw the knife faster than they can think. So, or do you have some thinkers over there? I don't recognize either of them.
They're both very good at knowing when to apply force judiciously.
She's like, that the woman there, she could be a stabber too. She looks like she could slip a blade between someone's ribs. She's the assassin in your group, isn't she? And she kind of nods towards where Reza's sitting.
She'll smile a little bit, and she says, "Well, she's an excellent actress."
No, she's not.
She's quite good, and she's learning to be better.
Never saw her through my classes, so fair enough. But she does stab people, doesn't she? Tell me she's slipped a knife between a rib or two. Well, you have to slip a knife between two ribs, don't you? If there's a between.
I mean, Nadine, haven't we all slipped a knife through a rib at some point?
Some more than others.
Well, that is true, but it goes with the house.
It's a pleasure to see you again. I'm hoping that the assignment they give you allows you to showcase your abilities. I have no doubt that you'll redeem the Bene Gesserit in the eyes of this house before long. From the whisperings I've heard here and there, you're already doing quite the job.
Thank you for the compliment. As I said, I take my duties very seriously, and this is my duty.
That much is true. And plus, you're my only student never to be made cry by my drills, so I have great admiration for you.
It would take a lot more than dancing drills to make me cry. Growing up among the Bene Gesserit is a harsh teacher in its own right.
That I don't doubt. Almost makes me want to investigate the mysteries myself, but as you well know, I wouldn't be suited. I'd want to take the place over the second I joined in. That doesn't fare very well in your group, does it?
people in our group who'd like to take the place over than you might think.
Fair enough. With that, she kind of gives you a wink and clinks against your glass and turns away, sending you back to your table. Yeah. So it's not too long after you're all kind of gathered back that you each get a small sugar wire wheel plopped in front of you. There's like one of the assistants of Viridian is definitely going to specific tables, putting the specific reels down. Okay, that table gets that table gets this, etc., etc. And I'm going to let you wonder about what your assignment is until next episode. Exactamundo. What could it be? I don't know. I actually kind of do. But yeah. So we'll let you wonder for a while what your next assignment is going to be. But this one comes straight from the head advisor of House Gildrun. So this is in all of your minds. This is very much like he wasn't kidding. They weren't kidding. This is like, are you good enough to move up this ladder? Are you good enough to become, eventually become like a lieutenant? The inner circle of the Baron and that kind of thing. This is without a doubt one of those times where people will be watching what you do much closer than others. So yeah. As for, let's see, so let's look at advancement points, since I always kind of forget to do that. Since we have some time, character advancement. Alrighty. Alright. So, for this session, let's just I'll have you put your fingers up if you think you get points for each little thing. So let's see. So you gain advancement points for facing difficult decisions, making mistakes, and suffering the consequence of actions. Failure is a harsh teacher. So I don't think that anyone actually failed anything. You were really
close.
Yeah, in the end, you didn't fail though. So that's a testament to your skills and your team ability, really. Again, I hope you guys see how that all came together, with that one thing where, this person's doing the thing, this person's helping, this talent goes over there, and suddenly you turn a loss into a win. Again, you're all very competent characters here. You're not just these little, novices picked off the street. You are professionals, and the game definitely kind of showcases that. So let's see. So pain, gain advancement point when you're defeated during a conflict. Nobody was defeated. Let's see. So we didn't do any tests. Well, actually, I didn't fail a test of difficulty 3 or higher. I think it's part that you guys are so good at this that you're falling behind here. But not falling behind, but you know what I mean. And then gain advance point whenever the game master spends 4 or more points of threat. And I think I didn't. I'd spent 2, so that's I spent 3 rather for 2 extra dice. But just so you guys know, I am looking to make reasons for these things to happen. And you guys just keep. Right, for the ones I put in front of you right now, you guys were just beaten. So let's see here. So let's look at ambition. Getting advancement points when you succeed in action supports your ambition. Does anyone have at least one of those that does that?
I would. We successfully completed our mission. And I spotted, one of the main threats, which I think, helps towards my ambition of being captain of the guard at one point.
Sure. Awesome. Cool. Anybody else? What are your ambitions? Have you closed in on them? Reza's gotten more famous. Is that part of her ambition?
Yeah.
I think it is her ambition, isn't it? It's okay.
Yeah.
And you actually did succeed in a skill to do just that, to basically be seen, be noticed, and all that kind of good stuff. So let's call that a 1. How about Anaya? What's Anaya's main thing? Let's take a quick
Anaya's
look.
is to eventually get Reverend Mother Mahayan's job as Imperial Trusair, but in the short term, that translates into basically doing this job like super amazingly awesome and repairing this relationship between the house and the Bene Gesserit. So I think Nadine's comment would be an indicator that she is making progress on that front.
Okay, and you definitely did a skill that made that happen. So yeah, so take one there. And let's see here. How about Jindo?
I could maybe make a case for mine, but it'd be kind of flimsy. Jindo wants to be less of a sword arm and more of a pulling the string general, or eventually become war master. And I don't know. I think aside from showing restraint, showing like sort of that like kind of how Anaya put it, that judicious use of violence, didn't just slaughter outright, stayed his hand to get more information and find out their employer, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that directly impacts, advancing, but it looks good.
It's tangential, but I'll go for it. Let's do that. And since you've actually completed your mission, I am going to give you each and also another advancement point. Each of you get one for that. It's like looking at the advancement system, I'm caught in between two things. Like, it's so easy to get a whole lot of stuff with not a lot of advancement points, potentially, especially if you're talking assets and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't want to make you gods in this game because that wouldn't be fun for anybody. However, I still want to reward you, and I want to make sure you get the advances that you deserve. So I'm gonna be in terms of getting advancement points the way the game wants you to. Trust that I'm going to be putting more of those in front of you. I want to give you the opportunity to fail. I want to put really hard things in your way. And the game kind of wants you to face difficult things and more than likely fail. And that's okay. But it's also like for the adversity. I'm willing to count that as again, you're stranded on Arrakis in the desert and you survive to get to wherever you're going. You've just faced adversity. You get an advancement point. So I'm also taking that into account. You guys didn't really face any adversity in this one, but just again, trust that I am trying to make opportunities for you to get all these things in advance, because I want to see your characters grow, like mechanically and that kind of thing. So trust that I'm doing that. We just kind of like been in a like kind of a different area where that wasn't as prevalent. So hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm communicating that correctly, but I hope you get it. Anyway, so yes, do that, and let me know if you guys want to spend any of your points that you do have accumulated. Other than that, excellent session. We brought things to a close. We got to actually meet some higher up NPCs in the House Gildrun. And you created some NPCs that I'll probably use in the near future or distant future or some alternate future. So that's really cool. And I hope you guys feel good about that. Like, again, I want to give you guys all the opportunity to be, as you guys are all so creative, and I hope through the role play you've shown it. I know each of you is incredibly imaginative and creative, and I want to give you an outlet for that as much as I can. So expect more of this, where I'm giving you a little narration ability to create things and that kind of stuff, because you're so good at it. Why should you be only one character's worth of imagination? So there's that. Anyway, that being said, it's time. So let's say goodbye to our people. Let's start over here with Steve. We never started with Steve lately.
Goodbye. Have a good week.
It's like it's a bot now. He's like, type in what you want the bot to say. Yes. Very good bot, though. Thank you. Good to see you as always. How about Susan Tingernome? And what's the kitty's name?
Mortimer von Butt Fedora.
Of course.
And also known as my pet Slaughter. But
Your
yeah,
pet Slaughter.
have a good week. You can find me at Tinkernome on Instagram, in other places. I don't know where else.
You're a bad marketer, Tinker Gnome, but we're gonna get you there. You got the. By the way, I looked at Instagram and it's like, this is not my thing. I can't. This is way a lot of work. This is more work than it looks like. And you have to take the picture, then you got to do the sticker, and then write something on it. And then there's like swiping up that I don't get. And I think it's because I'm old or something. But it evades me. It's like, if it was just pictures, I could do it, but no. Anyway.
Yeah, that's why I don't have much on there.
You have more than me, so good job. And then we have Danielle. How are you? Goodbye. Thank you for being here. And where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at RyRackandTour. And you can follow me for all kinds of stuff about games and books and cosplay. And actually, I have there's something coming out in the next couple of weeks here. I'm not sure precisely when it's going to come out, but it's called Through the Feywild Volume 2. And it is a compendium of magic items for D&D 5e, all themed around the Feywild. And I have 4 items in the compendium. So you should definitely check that out when it comes out.
Yes. And you're going to give me a link to that, right? So I can put it on
I will.
Discord?
As soon as it goes up for sale, I will give you a link to it.
All right, and any other links also. I already took care of Jonathan, so I make sure that all your stuff is out there too. So don't keep me in suspense. I want to put it out there.
Yes.
Awesome. I look forward to that. And last but not least, we have Jonathan. Where can we find you, Jonathan?
I'm Jonathan. You can find me on the DMs Guild and on itch.io and on Twitter at Jonathan Swadley. I've got I edited a compendium and supplement for Ned Turner recently over on the DMs Guild. It's about the Shadow Rift, which is basically a sort of a Feywild-esque domain in Ravenloft. So that's coming out here in the next couple of days. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's my most recent kind of release. So that's been fun. Other than that, I was really, really glad to see Scott run Technoshock, my micro RPG. That was an absolute blast to be a part of, and I'm just really thankful that you wanted to run it and that you ran it so well, and all the players were, having a lot of fun with it. So that was really awesome to see. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely, and it was fun to run. It's a cool game, and that I had the link for it, Danielle. So it's out there on the Discord for people to see and get, etc. So yeah, it was a pleasure.
Getting ready actually to have a sort of like revamp. I've got like a section of quick hacks that I'm gonna make an addendum to it for. So that should be coming soon, sometime within the next month or so. So I'll definitely post big updates when that happens. So
cool, awesome, love to hear it. Again, creativity all over the place. Gosh, I'm surrounded by it. It's like, I can't hold it. That's so much creativity. It's just, but yeah.
Some of it's even good.
I think it is. A lot of it's good. Always good. We're sure always good. On that note, I am ScottsCaseFiles, and I'm always happy to be here, and I will never finish gushing over my players who are awesome, and I hope you think they're awesome too, because they totally are, and if you don't think they're awesome, then you're wrong. Think again. Or else. So anyway, if you're watching me on Twitch, think of subscribing, following, all that kind of good stuff. That way, and hit notifications so you're aware when I'm going live and all that stuff. If you're watching us on YouTube, of course, all that stuff is in the description below. And I hope everyone had a great time. I hope that you, the viewer out there, also had a good time. And be good to each other, do good things. Don't break people's arms with sheathed weapons like Jindo. If you can really do that, you can get through your week. I'm here to tell you. So otherwise, go forth and do no harm, and we'll see you next week. But thank you for being here. Bye for now.